Veteran filmmaker and journalist Hamilton Wendy began his career in 1983. He co-produced and conducted all the interviews for the documentary My Father Died for This, which revisits the story of the Cradock 4 and features rare footage including an interview with former Apartheid Minister of Law and Order, Adriaan Vlok.
A colleague of mine, Nishan Zolk, who lives in New Zealand but he's South African, came up with the idea initially, and he contacted me and said, would you help me make this film? And of course I was extremely interested in doing so. I grew up as a journalist in the terrible years of the end of apartheid, so it meant the world to me to try and to get some version of the truth of what happened. In court today I was asked to confirm whether I was in fact the producer of the documentary, what I had done with it, and what was shown on the documentary relevant, and was it true what Adriaan Vlok had said to me, and I was able to confirm those facts.
Wendy echoed the sentiments of Mbulelo Goniwe, nephew of Cradock 4 leader Matthew Goniwe, who testified earlier this week. Both believe that confronting the injustices of the past is vital to addressing the challenges South Africa faces today.
So if we don't understand the problems of yesterday, and if we don't hold people accountable for what happened, and we allow the lies and the omissions to continue, that's going to weaken our present and our future.
Reflecting on the week's proceedings, Lucanyo Gqeberha, son of Cradock 4 member Fort Gqeberha, says the families were disappointed by the absence of former Apartheid Death Squad commander Eugene de Kock, who was expected to testify this week. It was announced in court on Tuesday that de Kock has been hospitalized indefinitely.
We're disappointed by that. But ultimately, it's yet another week of the inquest that has now passed. We've had another week's worth of evidence and testimony that was presented before the court. So in that light, we're very happy because we can see the progress. It may not necessarily be what we want it to be at all times, but progress is progress.
While the absence of de Kock in the inquest is a bitter pill to swallow for the families, Gqeberha says it's the responsibility of the victims of apartheid to show their perpetrators a level of humanity that they never afforded their victims.
If the guys that killed my dad and his comrades on the night had shown them some humanity, my father would perhaps still be alive. But with that said, we have to show, the perpetrators that even despite the crimes that they committed against our humanity, we're not broken, and that we can continue to show them the best of who we are, hoping that that will resonate within them, and we can finally then get to build the kind of society for which my father and his comrades ultimately laid down their lives for.
Looking ahead, Gqeberha remains hopeful about the next phase for the inquest. Former Security Branch Officer Craig Williamson and Christoffel Joffel van der Westhuizen, a former SADF commander in the Eastern Province, are expected to testify next week.
The mere fact that they are having to answer for their roles within the murders of the Cradock 4 and others is already a big thing, because they would have assumed that they have gotten away with murder. So it's important, and I'm not saying that we're looking forward to it, but we do hope to see them being held to some level of accountability for the crimes that they committed.
Gqeberha says the families hope these testimonies will finally bring them closer to the truth about what happened to Fort Gqeberha, Matthew Goniwe, Sparrow Mkonto, and Sicelo Mhlauli. Proceedings resume on Monday, the 20th of October at the Gqeberha High Court. Reporting for MPK TV News, I'm Taron Welman in Gqeberha.